Let's start with something that most people misunderstand about attraction. A lot of people believe that the more you reveal, the more you give, and the more available you are, the more someone will want you. It sounds logical, but human psychology doesn't always work that way. In fact, one of the most powerful forces behind attraction is curiosity. When everything about a person becomes instantly known, the mystery disappears. And when mystery disappears, the mind stops searching. You see, the human brain is naturally drawn toward what it cannot completely figure out. It wants to explore, understand, and uncover more. That's why mystery plays such a powerful role in attraction. Now, mystery doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It simply means allowing your life to unfold gradually instead of revealing everything at once. When a man meets someone who shares every detail of her life immediately, there's nothing left for his mind to discover. But when pieces of your personality, your passions, and your experiences appear over time, curiosity stays alive. Think about it this way. When someone reads a book and already knows the entire ending in the first chapter, the excitement fades. But when the story reveals itself slowly, page by page, the reader stays engaged. Relationships work in a similar way. Attraction grows when there is something left to explore. Sometimes people rush to fill every silence. They explain everything, answer every question immediately, and reveal every thought the moment it appears. But silence and patience create intrigue. When you speak thoughtfully instead of constantly, your words carry more weight. When parts of your life are discovered naturally over time, they feel more meaningful. Mystery also comes from having a life that isn't completely centered around the relationship. When you have your own interests, your own routines, and your own ambitions, it naturally creates space for curiosity. He starts wondering about the things you care about, the places you go, the thoughts you carry with you when you're not together. That curiosity keeps his mind engaged even when you're not in the room. And the truth is, attraction often grows strongest in the moments between interactions. It grows when someone is thinking about you, trying to understand you, imagining what you're doing. When everything is predictable, there's no space for that imagination. Mystery doesn't mean distance, it means depth. It means allowing your personality, your experiences, and your emotions to unfold naturally rather than all at once. When someone feels like they're constantly discovering new layers of you, their interest stays alive. They keep leaning in because they sense there is always more to know. And when curiosity stays alive, attraction has room to grow, because the mind will always chase what it still wants to understand. Now let's talk about something that quietly creates powerful attraction, and that is emotional stability. A lot of people believe that strong emotions are what keep someone interested. They think if they react intensely, express every feeling loudly, or constantly seek reassurance, it will show how much they care. But the truth is, emotional stability is far more magnetic than emotional chaos. When a person is emotionally stable, they carry a calm presence. They don't react to every small change in mood or behavior. They don't panic when things aren't perfect. Instead, they remain grounded. That calm energy does something powerful in a relationship. It creates a space where the other person feels comfortable and secure. You see, people are naturally drawn to environments where they feel peace. Life already comes with enough stress, pressure, and uncertainty. So when someone meets a woman who brings calm instead of conflict, clarity instead of confusion, and patience instead of pressure, it stands out. Emotional stability shows strength. It shows that you understand your emotions instead of being controlled by them. When something unexpected happens, you don't jump to conclusions. You don't assume the worst. You give situations room to breathe before reacting. That kind of response communicates confidence without needing to say a word. Now think about the opposite for a moment. When someone reacts strongly to every delay in a message, every small misunderstanding, or every moment of silence, it creates tension. The relationship begins to feel like a place where mistakes lead to emotional storms. Over time, that tension pushes people away because they feel like they are constantly walking on fragile ground. But when your presence feels calm and steady, the relationship becomes a place of comfort. A man starts associating you with peace rather than pressure. Conversations feel relaxed. Time together feels easy. There's space to laugh, to talk, and to connect without the weight of constant emotional reactions. And here's something interesting about human psychology. People often feel deeper attachment to those who make them feel emotionally safe. When someone knows they can talk, make mistakes, or be themselves without triggering unnecessary conflict. They naturally want to stay around that energy. Emotional stability also shows maturity. It shows that you have your own sense of balance in life. Your happiness isn't dependent on someone else's behavior every single moment. You bring your own sense of calm into the relationship. That calm becomes attractive. It tells him that being around you isn't exhausting. It tells him that the connection can grow without constant drama. And over time, that steady presence becomes something he values more and more. Because while excitement may catch someone's attention, peace is what makes them want to stay. And the person who brings peace into someone's life is the one they never want to lose. Now let's talk about something that quietly increases attraction without you having to say a single word, and that is independence. A lot of people believe that being constantly available proves how much they care. They think the more time they give, the more attention they offer, the stronger the connection will become. But in reality, attraction often grows stronger when someone sees that your life is already full and meaningful on its own. When a woman has her own world, something powerful happens. She has her own interests, her own routines, her own ambitions, and her own sense of direction. She enjoys spending time with someone, but her happiness doesn't depend entirely on that person being there. That kind of independence changes the entire dynamic of attraction. You see, when someone feels like they are the center of your entire world, the pressure becomes heavy. They begin to feel responsible for your mood, your excitement, and even your sense of fulfillment. Over time, that responsibility can feel overwhelming. But when a man sees that you have a life that is already rich with experiences, goals, and passions, your presence becomes something different. It becomes a choice. And there's something very powerful about being chosen rather than needed. When you spend time with him because you want to, not because you have nothing else in your life, it carries a different energy. It shows that your time is valuable. It shows that your attention is something meaningful, not something given out of boredom or dependency. Independence also creates a natural sense of intrigue. When your life includes activities, friendships, and interests that exist outside the relationship, he begins to see you as someone with depth. He starts wondering about the things that inspire you, the places you go, and the goals you're working toward. That curiosity keeps attraction alive. It also changes the way you carry yourself. When you're independent, you don't chase validation. You don't need constant reassurance to feel secure. Your confidence comes from the life you've built and the direction you're moving in. And confidence is attractive. You walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You make decisions with intention. Instead of trying to hold onto someone tightly, you allow the relationship to grow naturally while continuing to build your own life. This balance is powerful because it keeps the connection healthy. You're not losing yourself inside the relationship, and you're not making the relationship your entire identity. Instead, two complete lives are coming together and sharing experiences. That kind of connection feels refreshing. A man begins to respect the fact that you have your own path. He sees that being part of your life is something special because your life is already meaningful on its own. And when someone realizes that you are choosing them while still maintaining your independence, the attraction deepens in a very natural way, because the most powerful presence in someone's life is the one that doesn't need to stay, but chooses to. Now let's talk about something that quietly builds attachment over time, and that is the emotional experience you create when you're around someone. A lot of people focus on saying the right things or doing impressive gestures, thinking that attraction comes from words alone. But the truth is, people don't remember every word you say. What they remember most is how they feel when they're with you. Human psychology works through emotional association. When someone consistently feels good in your presence, their mind begins to connect those positive emotions with you. Over time, that connection becomes stronger than any single conversation or moment. Think about the people in your own life. There are some individuals you naturally look forward to seeing. Not because they are perfect or because every conversation is deep, but because being around them feels easy. You laugh more, you relax more, you feel understood and comfortable. That emotional comfort becomes powerful. When a man experiences that kind of feeling with you, something happens in his mind. He begins to associate your presence with relief, from the pressures of daily life. Instead of feeling judged or stressed, he feels like he can simply be himself, and people are naturally drawn to environments where they feel accepted. This doesn't mean every moment has to be exciting or dramatic. In fact, the strongest connections often grow in simple moments. Sharing a laugh, talking about everyday experiences, enjoying comfortable silence, or feeling that you can both be genuine without pretending. Those moments build emotional familiarity. When interactions feel positive and relaxed, the mind begins to crave more of them. A man may not always be able to explain it clearly, but he'll know that spending time with you leaves him feeling lighter, calmer, and happier. And when someone consistently feels that way after seeing you, they start wanting more of those moments. That's where attachment begins, because the brain remembers emotional rewards. If every interaction leaves him feeling uplifted instead of drained, your presence becomes something his mind naturally seeks, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. Now, this doesn't mean you have to entertain someone constantly or ignore serious conversations. Real relationships still include depth, honesty, and occasional challenges. But when the overall emotional experience feels supportive and enjoyable, those deeper conversations happen more naturally. The connection becomes balanced. Over time, he begins to see you not just as someone he spends time with, but as someone who brings a certain energy into his life. An energy that feels calm, uplifting, and genuine. And once a person begins associating you with those positive emotions, they start wanting your presence more often than they even realize. Because people may forget what was said in a moment, but they rarely forget how someone made them feel. Now let's talk about something subtle but extremely powerful when it comes to attraction: the way you give your attention. Attention is one of the most valuable things a person can offer, yet many people give it away without realizing its worth. They respond instantly to every message, they make themselves available at all times, and they pour energy into someone regardless of how that person behaves. At first, it feels like generosity. It feels like showing care. But when attention is given constantly, without any awareness of effort from the other side, it slowly loses its impact. You see, human psychology naturally values things that feel earned. When something is always available, the mind stops recognizing its significance. It becomes routine. But when attention is thoughtful and responsive to effort, it becomes meaningful. This is where selective attention comes into play. Selective attention simply means you give your energy where it is respected and returned. When a man makes genuine effort, when he communicates, shows interest, and invests his time, your attention meets that effort. You respond warmly. You engage in the conversation. You show appreciation for the energy he brings. But when effort disappears, your attention doesn't continue at the same level. You don't argue about it. You don't complain about it. You simply adjust. That adjustment is powerful because it creates a natural balance in the dynamic. It shows that your attention isn't automatic. It's connected to how the relationship is being valued. Think about it this way. When someone realizes that your time, your focus, and your emotional presence are meaningful, they begin to treat those things with greater care. They understand that your attention is not something they can take for granted. And that understanding changes behavior. When your attention responds to effort rather than chasing it, a man begins to recognize that investing in the relationship actually matters. His actions lead to your engagement. His effort leads to deeper connection. Over time, this builds respect. Respect is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. When someone respects your time and energy, they approach the relationship differently. They think before they act. They value moments with you more deeply. Selective attention also protects your own emotional balance. Instead of pouring your energy into situations where it isn't appreciated, you naturally direct your focus toward connections that are healthy and mutual. That creates a sense of confidence and self-awareness. You're not withholding attention out of manipulation. You're simply recognizing the value of what you give. Your presence becomes something meaningful because it reflects intention rather than constant availability. And when someone understands that your attention is a privilege rather than a guarantee, they begin to treat it with far greater care, because the attention that is given with intention is always more powerful than the attention that is given without thought. Now let's talk about the final piece, and in many ways it's the one that holds everything else together: Confidence. Not the loud kind that tries to prove something, but the quiet kind that comes from knowing who you are. A lot of people think attraction comes from trying to impress someone. They try to say the perfect things, look flawless at all times, or behave in ways they believe will gain approval. But the truth is, constantly seeking approval slowly weakens attraction because it signals uncertainty about your own value. Real confidence works differently. Confidence shows up in the way you carry yourself. It's in how you speak, how you make decisions, and how you handle situations when things don't go exactly the way you expected. When you have confidence, you're not constantly looking for reassurance. You don't need someone to tell you that you're worthy of their attention. You already know your value. That quiet certainty changes the entire energy of an interaction. Instead of trying to win someone over, you're simply being yourself and allowing the connection to develop naturally. You're open, you're kind, but you're not trying to force anything. And that energy is powerful because when someone senses that you're not chasing validation, they begin to see you differently. You appear rare, you appear grounded, you appear like someone who respects themselves enough not to beg for attention. Confidence also means you're comfortable with boundaries. You know what kind of behavior you accept and what kind you don't. When someone treats you well, you appreciate it. When someone doesn't, you step back without turning it into drama. That clarity shows emotional strength. A confident woman doesn't feel the need to compete for attention. She doesn't compare herself to everyone around her. She focuses on living her life in a way that reflects her values and her goals. And when a man sees that kind of self-assurance, something shifts in his mind. He recognizes that being part of your life isn't something guaranteed, it's something meaningful. Confidence creates that feeling of rarity because when someone knows their worth, they naturally protect it. They don't rush into situations that feel uncertain. They don't lower their standards just to keep someone around. Instead, they move through life with patience. That patience communicates something powerful, that you are willing to wait for the right connection rather than settle for the wrong one. And when a man realizes that your confidence doesn't depend on him, it often increases his desire to earn your attention. Not because you demanded it, but because your presence feels valuable. In the end, confidence is not about perfection. It's about self-respect. It's about trusting that who you are is enough without constantly trying to prove it. And when someone truly believes in their own worth, others begin to see it too, because the most attractive quality a person can carry is the quiet certainty that they already know their value.